Hey, it's Johara. Welcome back to my channel, 2TV Fanatics. I'm going to be talking about the most underrated Scooby Doo TV show, and I just found apparently that other people believe that too because I've just been watching some videos about this Scooby Doo TV show. I'm like, I'm not the only one that loves it because a few years ago there was only literally 1% of you that even liked it. Like, we would bond over it because I didn't know anyone else who actually liked it or even knew about it, and it made me sad because it's my favorite out of the Scooby Doo TV shows, my second favorite Scooby Doo related content altogether. Honestly, there's only two Scooby Doo related content I even watched. This and then the live action movies, which I absolutely adore. But this is amazing. Honestly, these days it might be kind of tight. I'm planning on rewatching the show beginning to end because there's a few ideas that I want to do about the show, like top 10 episodes, maybe top 10 characters. Um, and yeah, I just think there's some content I can make because I actually haven't talked about the show on this channel yet, and that's a crime because I love it. And the show is Mystery Incorporated. The reason why this stands out is because it is the only Scooby Doo show that has like, it's more like an, how do I explain it? So most Scooby Doo shows, there's every episode is just the same thing. They are doing trying to solve this mystery. At the end, they unmask it, but there's no arc that connects the entire show. They're just kind of individual episodes with the same characters, basically. Different mysteries, but all the same, and it gets kind of repetitious or something. Um, this show, they still do that. They do it a little bit less often once season 2 is getting too close because there's just too much going on with the big mystery. But at the beginning, yeah, there was still, them solving the mysteries, but it was also different because it wasn't just them solving the mysteries. The characters have relationships, like, and there's just, I feel like the characters have more of a personality. um, and you get to meet their families, and it's not just them. There's so many other characters that are on throughout. Like, there's Marcy, who ends up having a pretty big role in season 2. There's the mayor and the sheriff, and then the second mayor, because of what happens to the first mayor. Then there's all the people from the original Mystery Incorporated. There's just so many characters that aren't just one-offs. They just keep coming back for whatever reason. They actually have significant parts, even if they're not main characters. Obviously, the main Mystery Incorporated team, they're the main characters, but still. And plus, there's the mystery that overarches the entire story. Like, yeah, they're solving these individual mysteries, but there's this mystery over their entire town that they have to try to solve. Like, they get, and season 1 is mainly them getting pieces trying to solve this big mystery, and season 2 gets way more into it, and season 2 gets pretty dark. I feel like season 1 was more child friendly. Season 2 gets dark. I don't even remember it getting that dark. And when I was younger, and then as I was older, I was like, oh my gosh, the show gets dark. Like, do you know how many people actually die in the show? They never actually show the deaths, but there's just some scenes that get dark. Like, when Marcy dies, like you said, it doesn't actually show it on screen. Like, it shows guns being pointed at her because she risked her life so they could escape and keep going to finish solving the mystery. This is like near the very end of season 2, so you don't actually. But then the camera pans away back to them trying to get to the next stage of the journey to get what they're after before the bad guys do, and um and then obviously you hear gunshots, and then you see Scooby and Velma's faces, and it's like, jeez, that was dark. Um, but yeah, it's just, I absolutely love it. I feel like it's just such an underrated show, and I want to talk about it, and I have some videos planned for it in the future, so that'll be fun. Um, I know, my favorite character has always been Daphne. I love her and Fred's relationship, and I absolutely love it on here. I love how at first it looks like it's one-sided because Daphne's obvious about her feelings, and Fred has those feelings. He just doesn't realize it until she starts to be in danger. Like there's a one time she was in trouble for the crab and she was kidnapped, and then he kind of went a little insane with the episode when she was pretending to be uh, a singer in a band because someone was trying to kill this band, and um, so she was basically bait, and she ended up getting kidnapped and again, and then that's the episode he actually realizes that he has feelings for her, and then they start dating. They do break up at the end of season one, but you can kind of understand it because of what was going on in Fred's life. Like he had just discovered that his father basically kidnapped him as a baby from his biological parents, and his biological parents were two members of the original Mystery Incorporated, basically being the Daphne and Fred of their universe or their group, whatever. And so he needed to, figure out what to do next. So they broke up. But then in season two, what I love about their relationship in season two is that first of all, they definitely decides to be just friends. Like she was so heartbroken when Fred broke up with her that she just couldn't go through that again. She needed to be with herself, which I loved that arc for Daphne because even though I loved her character, she was still my favorite in season one. Especially in the very beginning, I feel like she was so boy crazy. Not really boy crazy, but just so obsessed with getting Fred to notice her and stuff. And I feel like that was so much of her personality at the beginning. She got more of an arc in season one, thankfully. That didn't last. But at the very, very beginning, it did seem like that was all her character, and I'm glad it wasn't. And in season two, she was trying to figure herself out more without Fred, which I really like. But this time, Fred, who was never really good at expressing his feelings, was more was doing that. He wanted Daphne back so bad. He regretted hurting her because he was just going through a lot, and he you see that side of him that Daphne always wanted to see that you never saw. So even though she wanted to be just friends, he kept trying to show that he still loved her, and she would accidentally show moments where she still loved him, and then she would try to play it off, be like no, and it's just, uh, I loved their relationship, and there's just so many scenes I love with the two of them. I should do the top 10 scenes with the two of them from this series as well, but um one thing I did not like from season one, I think this was the only real issue I had with the entire series, was Velma and Shaggy's relationship. I mean, it was it was, I don't want to say weird. It was, I've never heard of a Scooby Doo adaptation trying to put Velma and Shaggy together, but I feel like it could have been done, eh, but they did it so bad. Like Velma got on my nerves. I like how sassy and sarcastic she can be, but she was trying to change Shaggy. Like seriously, she didn't. She was basically trying to change the things she didn't like about him. It's like no, you love someone for all of them, even their faults. And to she was trying to basically I mean like she didn't like the pants he was wearing, so she decided to have him wear these really tight pants where he couldn't even bend over. Then um she forced him to wear a rubber band so that every time he says the word like, which he says a lot, he has to snap it so that he would slowly stop saying the word like. And and then she was so hurt when he and then when because their relationship was secret at first, and then when everyone found out, Scooby was upset, so Shaggy had to choose between Scooby and Velma, which I hated. I didn't like either of them for that because why make him choose? Like Velma shouldn't expect him to give up his best friend, but Scooby shouldn't expect him to give up his girlfriend. Neither one of them were in the right in that situation. But then Velma was all hurt when Shaggy chose Scooby, but she wasn't exactly a great girlfriend from the beginning. So I just didn't like it. Um, but luckily afterwards, well, they were kind of not on good terms right afterwards. But certain things made the entire mystery gang. I keep going up, fumbling over my words. Mystery gang break up, and then they all get back together only like an episode later. But and then after that they were on good terms for the rest of the series. Um, so I'm glad the tension between their breakup didn't last that long because I didn't like that storyline anyways. But it was like I said, it's the only issue I had, the only storyline that I didn't like. Overall, I don't even think there are any episodes I dislike. There are episodes that are not as good as others. Obviously, there's some episodes that um I just not as fond of, but I don't think there's an episode I absolutely just don't like. So there's that. Um, but yeah, like I said, the mystery is so intriguing, and finding out about the mystery, um, and what it has, and finding out the entire history of this mystery and this treasure that so many people have lost their lives for, have made them go crazy, which is why it which is what happened to the original, which happened to every Mystery Incorporated, because there were like so many of them, and all these, there were always these four kids that were solving mysteries or trying to go after this treasure with a talking animal friend, and um, so finding out the history, and it was so interesting. Every clue you got, it keeps you hooked because you want to know what the mystery is, and you don't even find out the entire mystery until the end. You find out part of it by the end of season one, the part that has to do with the original Mystery Incorporated, which include Fred's biological parents, Cassie, who we actually met at the very beginning, but we didn't know that she was a part of it. Mr. E, who was the one that was helping them throughout the first season. He was helping them with their mysteries whenever they were stuck or something, and didn't know where to go next. He would help them, but you find out he was part of it. And then crap, I forgot the owl's name. I think he's an owl. No, he's not an owl. He's a bird. What type of bird? I don't remember. Um, Professor, I want to say Pericles, something like that. And I love how it's like, and then you find out that like all this, everything that all the bad things that happened in Crystal Cove was because of this treasure that was underneath it, that was basically an entity of evil, and um, it was just so interesting, and every time you find out a new piece of the puzzle, you get more hooked, wanting to know more. But at the very beginning, it's like you found out the pieces were very few and far between. Like you could go a few episodes without even Mr. E being mentioned, if I remember correctly, and with the mystery and everything. But you slowly start to get it more and more, and then season two, it gets you still have those episodes where it's them solving a mystery, whatever. But there's just so much more. Like I said, it gets darker and it gets way more into the mystery. Like I said, at the end of season one, you find out about what happened to the original Mystery Incorporated, the ones right before them that included Fred's parents and all those other people I just mentioned. And you find out what happened to them, why they went missing, and the truth behind all of it. But you still don't know the truth about the mystery itself, or all the other people that went missing before the generation before them, Fred's parents and all of them. And um, and the treasure, there's still so many unanswered questions. We have some answers to some of the questions we had, but there's still but now we have more questions to answer and no answers for them, and you have to wait so long to figure everything out, and you finally learn everything near the end of season two, and then they had to try to stop the evil entity because it had turned Mystery Incorporated so evil, except for Cassie, her name's Cassie, right? I think it's Cassie. Um, you find out she was their friend at the beginning. She had regretted what the treasure had turned them into. She was trying to help them in this persona as Angel, and um, and then Mr. E later on is because he's just so morally gray. He's probably my second favorite, no, third favorite, because I do like the Professor the bird. I think I'm butchering his name. It has been how many since I actually watched the show, but I plan to rewatch it soon. Um, and because Angel's my favorite. She's so sassy, such a she's just amazing. Like, do not get in a fight with her, you will lose. Uh, but she's awesome. But because I lost my train of thought. I got to oh okay. So what I was saying is that Angel was helping them from the beginning because she had regretted what the treasure had turned her and her friends into years before. Then Mr. And then when you finally meet Fred's parents in season 2, they seem nice and all, but then you find out that they were actually helping the bad guys because they're all evil, but they're only evil because of the evil entity making them evil. And Mr. E near the end of season 2, he actually starts to regret everything. He starts to realize that his old friend, the bird, is just um he realized everything they'd done. He also missed Angel because the two of them were in love, and this would have been after her death. She sacrificed herself to make amends and to save the Mystery Incorporated. And he just missed how things used to be, and he realized how wrong they've all been. And he even, if I remember correctly, he sacrifices himself because I think he dies. Um, I don't remember the fates of Fred's parents. Um, but and then, but the bird, the evil entity ended up coming in him. He ended up being this giant thing trying to destroy them, and they had to try to save the entire town because the entire town was being destroyed and everyone in it was being killed. Like, they had to try to masquerade and get inside the secret, the hideaway to try to slowly get everybody out because they were using the town as slaves to do their work to get everything they need done so that they could like be the masterminds and prepare for the entity being released. So they were trying to slowly get everyone out. I love the scene when who was it? Stephanie, Fred, and Velma, I think, were in the Mystery Incorporated van, and they had rigged it up so it would run into something and explode. And Jackie and Scooby didn't know all this, so I absolutely love to see when it exploded because the parents were all there as well, and Shaggy and Scooby like they started freaking out because they knew they were in there. And the parents found out that they were in there, and it was just such a good moment. And then when they revealed that they weren't in there, they just rigged it to do it all on its own, and they were so happy. Like it was just such a sweet scene. I feel like in most of these Scooby Doo series, we don't get many sweet scenes with the group showing that they do care about each other. They are a family, and another reason why I love this because they all care about each other so much. They are family, and you could see that in this scene so much. Like Shaggy and Scooby's literal fear that they just lost three of their best friends, the only people there that really understand them and care about them for who they are. I say that because Shaggy's parents are a lot like Daphne's parents, these rich, stuck up people, and Shaggy, he's not. And I feel like they're always very disappointed in him because he's different than what they envisioned, I guess. But yeah, and uh, it's just such a great scene. Like I love the hug afterwards. Like Shaggy and Scooby were literally afraid that they just lost the three of them, and it was just so good. But one of my favorite episodes. This episode was insane because it's like Mystery Incorporated kept. It was mostly following the villains in this episode. Like at this point, except for Angel, because like I said, she was the only one in Mystery Incorporated that was no longer working for the bad guys, even though she was when she was younger, because she got corrupted when she was younger, but she's out of it now. But so the bird, Mystery, and then Fred's parents. At this point, the characters don't know if Fred's parents are evil and working with bad guys, only the audience. And it's mostly following the four of them as they follow Mystery Incorporated. So you see it from their point of view. And they're trying to get the let me try that again. Planisferous, I can't say that word. Planisferous discs, which is part of the treasure, the mystery and all that. And everyone's trying to get all of them so that they fit. But they don't have all of them. They have most of them. And I think they had what 3 or 4, and then the bad guys had the remaining two, and they needed were the ones that the Mystery Incorporated had, because then they would have all the pieces and could put them together, and the mystery would start to actually unravel. Um, so, but Mystery Incorporated kept going place to place, and they wouldn't be there long. So every time they did, the group would try to get the place fair as this, but then the group would come back out to the van, and they would have to hurry up and leave before they get caught. And it kept going on like that. And then at the end, they think they finally have the briefcase that has it, and then when they open it, there's only one disc. It's not even a Planet Affairs disc. It's just like a CD disc. Like, and they put it and they watched it, and it's the group explaining how they basically manipulated it and tricked them this entire episode. And everything where they thought the bad guys were pulling the strings, it was actually the good guys pulling the bad guys' strings. And you find out, and then you realize that they had stole the two Planet Affairs discs the bad guys had when they weren't when they were too busy trying to get the other ones. And because you find out that Fred actually found out about his parents being evil, so they've been slowly pulling the bad guy strings, and then they ended up with all the Plants parents did, and the bad guys ended up with nothing. It's probably the best episode in the entire series, or if not the best, close to it, because I do love the final episode with the final fight. But yes, it's definitely the top 3 at the least. That episode, oh my gosh, when you find out at the end that they were doing this entire episode, top tier. Like, I love that episode so much. It is definitely one of the best episodes in the series. I'm not even kidding. It's just such a great episode, and it's just because you didn't see it coming. It just came out of nowhere, and I absolutely loved it. Um, and like I said, the final fight's good. I have mixed feelings about the ending though, because once it looked like that they lost, but then they were able to win at the last minute, and then everything was back to normal. The town was then destroyed. The people that had died were not dead, and um, the people that died the entire series, they were all good. The people that had been unmasked had never been unmasked because they were never criminals in the first place. And the Crystal Cove, which town they live in, which once said the what haunt how was it put? The most haunted place on earth, now said the sunniest place on earth. And turns out nobody in town ever had any memory of any of this. Only the Mystery Incorporated, Daphne, Fred, Scooby, Shaggy, and Velma do. They are the only ones to have, and which means no one knows that they ever did mysteries. Um, the mayor that had technically kidnapped Fred when he was baby and raised him, um, had never done that. He was raised by his birth parents who were never evil. Same with everyone else who was never evil or never killed, and and so they have these, and then all the so there's like this new set of memories. Like he was raised by his biological parents, and they have the memories of that, but Fred doesn't. He still remembers um the mayor being his dad for most of his life, but now that never actually happened. But he remembers it because it technically did happen. But only these 5 people even remember any of this of how the world used to be. And then at the end, they were like all ready to graduate and stuff, and they decided to leave Crystal Cove for and decided because there was one other person that actually remembered, and it's because he dealt with stuff like this before, so he knew like time ducks, time travel, and all that, and he realized that something was wrong and realized what happened. So he contacted them and said they all can go to his college. So because there's plenty of mysteries that need to be solved there, because none of them knew what to do without solving mysteries, because that is their life. So they all decided to go into the van and drive away from Crystal Cove to go to this college and solve new mysteries. So I like have mixed feelings about that ending. Like it's a good twist, but and I like that everybody was alive again and that Crystal Cove was not destroyed. But the part I have issues with is everyone forgetting everything that happened all these years. Plus everything Mystery Incorporated went through. Like they were risking their lives on a daily basis to save the town and save all these people, and nobody remembers it. They literally saved the world and nobody remembers it. So yeah, mixed feelings about that. Because they deserve some love and appreciation for legit saving the world. Another reason why this is the better Scooby Doo series, because they legit saved the world. um, I could go on and on about the show because I do absolutely love it. And I might make another video. Like I said, I have more scoop content for the show coming out soon. Once I rewatch the show, it depends when I actually get to watching the show. But once I do start watching it, it shouldn't take too long. There's only 2 seasons, and once I get into it, I'll probably watch them back to back, depending on how busy I am. Because I have been writing a lot, and I do want to get some more reading done. So it just depends on how much of a TV mood I'm in. But I do hope to do it soon-ish within the next few months because I do want to have these other contents. But like I said, it's been a little while since I watched the show, and I want to rewatch the show before I do a top 10 episode. Or I could probably do the top 10 characters because I remember the characters. The episodes is what, for the top 10 episodes, I have to do a rewatch for. But I would love to do top 10 moments with the entire gang because, like I said, there's so many sweet moments. Like I said, I absolutely love the moment when Shaggy and Scooby thought Velma, Fred, and Daphne had died. That's such a great scene. Ugh, love it. And I would love to do a top 10 Daphne and Fred um moments because I love their relationship. Especially in season two. I love the relationship in season one. But like I said, I loved in season two that you got to see that side of Fred that Velma always wanted to see in season one. And I love that Fred actually started showing how much he cared and was actually more in tune with his feelings. Because even though he did have those feelings and he did love Daphne so much, he did kind of propose to her at the end of season one when they're still in high school. But another great moment is when everyone finds out they're engaged. Like at near the end of season one, the parents want to split the group up because they think they are too into this mystery solving, and then the mayor and Daphne's parents definitely want to split Daphne and Fred up because they never like their kids dating. They just don't like each other. So and then Daphne blurs out that him and Fred are engaged, and uh everyone, even the Mystery Incorporated, because they did not know. We're like, what? Great scene, great scene. But yeah, there's just so much content I can make and I want to make. I'll think of some more. Those are the ones that are on my mind. So what? Top 10 episodes, top 10 characters, top 10 Daphne and Fred moments, top 10 Mystery Incorporated moments. I could do the top 10 twists. I don't know if there are. Actually, I think there could be 10 twists in the show at least. I mean, finding out Angel's identity, finding out Mr. E's identity, finding out about Fred's parents. Um, I know there's more. I'll have to rewatch the show, like I said. But there's actually a good amount of twists I might be able to do a top 10 on twists alone. Hmm. Top 10 deaths. Like I said, we never actually see any of the deaths on screen, but we do get enough to know what's happened. Like that one guy that died because Professor Pericles kind of, scratched him to death. Like, you never actually see it, but it zooms out to his house and the lights are flickering and he's screaming. And so you kind of know it happens. You just don't actually see it. Like I said, this show is dark. Oh, I could do a top 10 times the show gets dark. There's actually a lot of content I can do with this show that I just now realized despite only having 10 episodes. 2 seasons. Where did I get 10? I don't know. I'm talking about top 10 lists, so my mind's. It's late, okay? But there's actually a lot of videos I can make with this show, and now I am really excited for them. So once I rewatch the show, you might be getting a lot of videos that have to do with Mystery Incorporated because it's so good. Like I said, the top 10 characters I can probably do now, but the rest of them I'm probably going to have to. I think I can do the Daphne and Fred one, maybe. We'll see. But most of the top 10 lists I already am planning I'll have to rewatch the show for because it has been a hot minute. But yeah, so thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment your favorite part about Mystery Incorporated, your favorite scenes, or just how much you love it, or if you've ever seen it. If you haven't, I highly, highly recommend it. So yeah, I will talk to you guys next in the next video.